Hey guys, so in this video demo, I'm going to demonstrate how to do a watercolor painting from observation, and my sister had gotten me these really funky drinking glasses last year for my birthday that have this orange pattern on it that I really liked, and then I put a little thing of sticky notes behind it because I like the combination of orange and blue being complementary. So that's what I used for my setup, and I will demonstrate in this video how to go about beginning a watercolor painting. As you can see here though, after a while I abandoned watercolor and I started going in with colored pencil and marker. I love using watercolor as kind of like a base, but then working into it with other media, and watercolor is great for that because you can layer over it a lot with colored pencil, marker, pen, Sharpie, you name it, you can layer over watercolor. So I always like to use it as a base. I am not a huge watercolor painter. I typically tend to use acrylic paint. Reason being is I think I'm a little too aggressive for watercolor. I'm impatient. With watercolor, you have to really wait for layers to dry, and then once they dry, they lighten up significantly, so it takes like multiple layers to get to a very dark value, and some people are great at it. I just don't have the patience. I'm like the person standing there with my blow dryer trying to dry the watercolor as fast as possible so that I can move on to the next layer, and I'm just really impatient. So I typically use it as a base just to lay in some basic washes. I also like to work very loose with the watercolor when I'm beginning. You'll notice as I work on this from the start, I'm kind of letting colors bleed into one another, not being super careful. The thing I'm the most careful about when I'm beginning with a watercolor painting is leaving areas that need to be white so that they can read as highlights, especially in a situation like this where I'm painting a water glass. It has a lot of really bright highlighted areas, but even then I'm a little bit too impatient and I end up covering over those light areas. And I would say like the traditional watercolor artist would probably see the way I approach this and boot me out of the society because I end up, some of those highlights I hit with white acrylic paint. I went in and defined some edges with marker. This whole background I wanted to be much darker, so that's all done with these tombos that I have. Some of these streaky highlights going through, I use colored pencil. And in my opinion, it's all a means to an end, however you want to make your image. But for those of you who are interested in like a traditional watercolor method, first of all, there are probably other really good demonstrations out there on YouTube, so feel free to expand. You are not limited to watching my demo, but I do try to hang in there with the watercolor a bit longer than I typically would in this demonstration so that you can see it develop a little bit over time before I start going in with the other media. So yeah, enjoy.